The afternoon of May 15, 1954, Mrs. William E. Boeing, wife of the founder of the Boeing Airplane Company, christened a new airplane. Then, America's first jet transport, the Boeing 707, was towed into the sunshine.
The 707 was a private venture. The Boeing chairman, Bill Allen, had put $15 million behind the project. But if Boeing took a financial risk, it took no risks with the design and building of the 707. Its metal skin was over 4 times thicker than that of the Comet. Boeing drew on its experience with America's first jet bombers, the B-47 and the B-52. Both had been flown by Boeing's chief test pilot, Tex Johnston.
After flying the B-47 and the B-52, there was no doubt in my mind that the aircraft of the future, military and civilian transportation, was going to be jet. Of course, the prototype 707 was all built with company money, and it was a big responsibility. It was a gamble to some degree from a structure standpoint and a performance standpoint, but not nearly as much as the gamble of how long was it going to take the airlines to decide that's what they wanted and come up with the money to produce them.
Tex Johnston, chief of flight tests for the Boeing Airplane Company, signed for the new jet transport and climbed aboard with Dick Flesh, his co-pilot.
The first flight was on the 15th of July, 1954. Tex Johnston's family was at the Boeing airfield near Seattle to watch him taxi out.
With half of Seattle out there observing it, and all of the industry, airlines, engine manufacturers, competition looking down your throat, you had a lot on your mind. But once you fire up the engines and taxi out for takeoff, all that leaves you, and you're primarily absorbed in all the systems in the airplane, how it's reacting to the control. And as we taxied out, the people were jumping up and down, waving, and it was a celebration.
Boeing 707, we're clear to come up on power.
Gave it the power and took off, and it rotated, and the first liftoff, the airspeed just kept building. I kept pulling the nose up, and we were light, relatively light, you know, and we were climbing steep. And my co-pilot, Dick Flesh, said, "Man, is this thing going to climb straight up?" And after I landed, some of the engineers said, "We thought something was wrong with the control system. The airplane was climbing so steep. All I was doing was keeping on the best climb speed."
Flight test you reach. This is Tex. We've been climbing for 8,700 feet. All the engine operation is normal. Hydraulic pressures are normal. The airplane feels good.
The airplane taxied in, and when it had been parked, the pilot and co-pilot were congratulated by William M. Allen, president of the Boeing Airplane Company.
I could see the difference in that man from, he shook hands with me before I climbed aboard on the initial flight. And to me, it looked like he was carrying a bit of he was stooped a bit at a load he was carrying, mentally, financially. When we landed at Boeing Field and he came out there, he was standing straight and tall and smiling, and it was beautiful to witness the difference in the man.
The test flying program for the 707 lasted 4 years. Tex Johnston had his own way of thrilling airline executives with demonstration flights.
IATA, the International Air Transport Association, which includes all the airlines of the world, had assembled in Seattle for their annual convention. And Boeing just happened to have a prototype airplane that was going to shrink the world by a factor of 2. But I've sold fighters and commercial airplanes, and you demonstrate them to impress people what they're capable of. And I knew that the prototype, and there's one maneuver that you can do with no hazard whatsoever. I decided that I would do a roll to impress the people. So I came across and did a chandelle. One of my test engineers happened to have his camera with him, and he snapped a picture, which is famous today, with the airplane on its back, and the engine's up on top of the wing, and the Lake Washington below. I was called to Mr. Allen's office Monday morning, and Mr. Allen asked me what I thought I was doing, and I said I was selling airplanes. And explained it's a 1G maneuver, and it's absolutely non-hazardous, but it's very impressive. And his comment was, you know that now, we know that, but just don't do it anymore. So it was fine.